Today we're going to do some work, kneeling on your hands and knees. I want to stay focusing on strengthening your abs, of course, but this series will also strengthen your upper back and give you focus on your shoulders. If hip mobility is something that concerns you because you're sitting a lot or you've noticed you lost it, working from quadruped's great because we start in a position that actually accommodates tension in the hips, and it's a good relationship against gravity to get some movement through the joints. Now, you can always pad up under your knees or under your hands if this is an area of concern for you as well. Let's start out just getting a sense of how our body feels in this relationship to gravity. So you want to set your hands under your shoulders and your knees right under your hips and leave a little bit of space between your knees. Imagine your back flat like a table, and since you can't actually feel your back on anything, you have to visualize a string running through the center of your body, and we're going to pull it taut from both ends. So imagine the crown of your head and then your sit bones are reaching out towards opposite sides of the wall. And then with your hands and your knees, I want you to push your body away from the floor. And without letting the shape of your spine change, you'll notice you're pushing your skeleton into the skin against the back of your body. And so that's stimulating all the sensory nerves back there. Let's tune into your breathing and just get a couple good Pilates breaths to start. As you inhale, you're going to take the breath in through your nose, and I want you to visualize the rib cage expanding in every direction. The whole container is getting larger. And then exhale through your mouth, imagining the container getting smaller to squeeze the air back out. When you breathe in, the ribs are opening, making more space between each level of the ribs. And then as you exhale, the ribs gather together, pulling into the midline to blow the air out. As you inhale, feel a little pressure into the floor with all four limbs. And as you exhale, feel the abdominal wall compress towards the spine, creating a sling of support underneath you. One more time, as you breathe in, you still have the abdominal support, but it softens a little to allow for the expansion of the breath. And then when you exhale, you'll feel your pelvic floor lifting slightly and the abdominals compressing again. Let's start with the familiar movement, the cat stretch. So you're going to take one more breath in and just reset that sense of length out the ends of your body. When you exhale, start to round the spine by tucking the tail, drawing the abs up to the ceiling, spreading your shoulder blades apart, and hanging your head down to look at your knees. Now hold your flexion, breathe into the mid-back. When you exhale, stick out your tailbone and start to flatten the spine. Feel the moment you've arrived in neutral, and then go a little farther, lifting your chest and chin so we're in extension. Now check on the limbs again. Make sure you're still pushing away from the floor. We're going to stay here for a breath in, so we never have a sense of collapse, just changing shape. As you exhale, tuck your tail under, start to round your back, hang your head to look at your knees. As you hold for your inhale, keep drawing the head and the knees closer together. Exhale, stick out your tailbone, pass through your neutral, feel your shoulder blades sliding back and down as you lift the chest and chin. One more time, breathe in. And then exhale, tuck your tail under, scoop those abs up around your spine. Last inhale breath to hold, and then roll it back out, tail to head, lift your breastbone, lift your gaze to finish. Okay, find that midpoint again where your back is flat like a table. Now you're going to work on isometrically engaging your abs, just keeping the same shape as we reach out opposite arm and leg. When you exhale, you're going to glide one leg back on the mat and the opposite arm forward, reaching to those two opposite walls. Inhale as you lower back down, and then switch. Exhale as you reach out, and inhale to lower. So we're going to keep moving in rhythm with your breath, but halfway through I'm going to have you change your pattern. So right now you're going to exhale, compressing the abs, so it's like you're drawing into the center as the limbs are reaching away from it. And we're feeling that nice support, so again, that sling sensation underneath you. And just one more time like that, exhale, reaching, and inhale down. All right, so now for fun, let's just do your breathing backwards. And I want you to assess for yourself, is your balance better one way or the other? There's no right or wrong answer. Let's see what happens. All right, so before you start, take that exhale and just find those abs again, get a little lift of your pelvic floor. Now you're going to inhale, reaching out through the arms and leg, and then exhale as they come back down. Try to use the whole length of your breath to create the motion so that we really never stop moving the arms and legs. Inhale away, visualizing that length you're creating. Exhale, recreate your support. And inhale, reach out. Keep going. So if any of you want to communicate with me in between these emails, I love that. But I'd love to hear if one of these movements feels like, oh yeah, that really kicked in something I never felt before. Always tell me, because I never know. And I think it's all fun. So I'm not a good judge. One more time. and then back down. All right, I will get you off your wrist in 1 second, but first we're gonna do a lateral flexion. So from the hips, it feels like you're swinging your hip side to side. What I'd like to create is a hike, though, of your hip, not just a shear force. So this is cute, right? Okay, so try that. Just try to hike your hip up toward your ribs and then swing it to the other side. And if you get that hike that we're trying to create, you'll notice your head and your shoulders start to twist too. So now make that a little bit more of the movement. You're just looking over your shoulder, trying to see that hip as it peeks around. And we've been joking in real studio classes that this is like the Coco Chanel. See one way, see the other way. One more each way, and then back. Okay, so off the wrist for just a sec. We'll get back down there. Pose for your sports team picture. One leg forward, one knee back, so we're in a kneeling lunge. Two of the exercises we are working on, the roll up and the roll over, are flexion exercises. But to get stronger flexing, you actually have to get stretchier in extension. Your body needs to be able to move like a whip through the whole range. Since we're at the computer, we're flexed so much, this stretch should open you up. So you might want to keep this as a standalone if you have a break during your day today. Okay, so you want to begin with your foot out a little bit farther forward than your knee. Put your hand on your knee for balance, or you could grab a chair or the wall if you need a little more support. And then you're going to take a gentle lunge forward with your hips. As your hips move forward, I want you to take your free arm, reach it up to the ceiling, and then just come back out of it. So we're going to keep it at a slow pace, again, in rhythm with your breath. And what we're trying to create here is the primary stretch that we get in the single thigh stretch on the reformer. You know, the one we do at the end of class where you're lunging back with one leg on the carriage. By adding your arm lifting up, we create an extension that's not just for your hips, but for your whole body, running up from your knee to your arm. One more time like that, and then lunging forward and releasing. Let's switch legs. Okay, so remember to leave your foot out a little bit just so you have room to travel towards it. And again, you're just taking that arm up, lunging forward and returning. And let your gaze lift, so you want to look up towards the ceiling to follow the hand. Taking nice deep breaths is always a good way to just stay embodied, stay tuned into yourself, but it will encourage whatever muscle groups you're trying to stretch to let go a little bit. And just one more time like that, lunging into it, lifting your heart, and then releasing. Okay, last but not least for today, we're doubling back to that cat stretch. So you gotta go down on your wrist one more time. But what I want to do is add a challenge that will help us with the progression of the harder exercises. We're going to do the cat stretch in a knee hover now, so now we really will have to work through the abs and the glutes. If you're not there yet with this exercise, just repeat the regular cat again, or turn this video off. You could be done. All right, so this time as you set up in quadruped, you want your toes curled underneath you so that we can shift the weight into that knee hover. Spread your fingertips really wide, and let's practice just the knee hover first. All right, last little baby tip. Look down at your hands. If your elbow points are sticking out to the side like you're a bulldog, I want you to try to rotate your arm so that the points of the elbow are more angled back towards your knee and less out to the side like that. Much better for your rotator cuff. All right, breathe in to prepare. When you exhale, push into your fingers and your toes and hover the knees just an inch or two off the mat. And then place them back down. The lower that you lift, the harder this is. So you're going to exhale to pick them up. Inhale, back down. And feel the pressure through the limbs. Get the shoulder muscles activated before you lift those knees up. And just one more time for the practice, drawing your abs in, creating stability as you lift, and then back down. All right, so now we're going to hold that hover, and we're going to cat 5 times. Exhale, pick your knees up. Now we'll do it on a 2 breaths. So you're going to hold to inhale. When you exhale, tuck your tail under, flex the spine, resist weight shifting forward or back. Inhale, stick out your tail, elongate just to neutral, not extension. Exhale, curl the spine. I'm going to keep in that neutral because then your abs never stop working. Inhale to return. I'll keep you at your back. Exhale, flex. Inhale, flatten. And feel the abdominals leading the movement, but your glutes squeezing to make it bigger. And inhale, return. And exhale, curl. And then back out. All right, knees down. Sit back towards your heels. You've earned the shell stretch. You're going to stay here and take a breath in. Hold for an exhale. Compress your abs a little deeper. Take one more breath in, and then roll back up. All right, I'm going to spend some time today getting like a little ahead of the game so I can get to these videos earlier. But thanks for playing along, and I'll see you tomorrow.